Hi, I'm Tamara and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to talk about the Enneagram. We're going to talk about Enneagram 3 and Enneagram 7. Enneagram 3 is the doer or the achiever, and Enneagram 7 is the adventurer. So my question for you today is, which type would you rather be? So let's just talk a little bit very quickly about the Enneagram. The Enneagram is not the same thing as Myers-Briggs type indicator personality types. This is a whole different system that explains personality types. In fact, there's only 9 of them. When I think of the Enneagram, I think of more delving deep into the psyche. I think of what happened in your childhood that shaped who you are. Did you have a childhood where you felt chronically bored? Did you have a childhood where you felt that you couldn't be yourself or your creativity was stifled? It gives you a healthy side of yourself and an unhealthy side. It just goes deeper into the self and gives you a description of your personality in that way. So let's get into it, shall we? We shall. So let's start with the Enneagram 3. Because they're the doers, they always have something going on. There's always a to-do list of things that they need to do or get done. In their minds, there's no such thing as too much work. They don't like to see jobs that need to be finished left in the air. No, they want to get that job completed. They can have multiple things going on at the same time. They have to stay busy. They can take charge of things and make things happen. They can be the leader of different situations and take charge. That's no problem. They really don't let anything get in the way of getting a job done. They believe in hard work. And they also have a component to them that kind of likes being in the know. You might identify a 3 because they're name dropping. Oh, I know this person, I know that person, this person told me this. And you know, they kind of like to associate with people of importance. They're stepping in, doing different jobs. I can juggle many different things at the same time. I can help you, I can help me, I can help everybody. So they usually are quite energetic and they're juggling jobs in their personal lives that they've created, and they're doing their job that they're getting paid for. So they can have multiple things going on. They can be busy at the church. They can be busy with volunteering. They don't mind working past work hours. They have a positive attitude generally. They have good self-esteem. And they're usually just very much on the go. So let's delve into the 7, which is the adventurer. With the Enneagram, you can be on a continuum. For example, you might be extremely healthy or extremely unhealthy or somewhere kind of in the middle. You can be an extreme in these behaviors, but then you might not be as extreme. So I know different adventurers who are on opposite ends of the spectrum. Now, that being said, an adventurer is always on the go. They usually are doing an activity, but their mind is on what they're going to be doing next or what else could be happening instead of just what's going on in the very moment. They live very fast-paced lives. They usually have lots of different activities going on at once. They rarely get bored and they like to take risks in life. That's not a problem for them. They like to try new things. If something negative happens in their life, they usually bounce back faster than most people do. They may not like being slowed down by long conversations. It's like, get to the point because I have 100 things that I'm doing right now. They usually have several hobbies or things that interest them, that keep them going, that they enjoy doing. So some of them are not so fast-paced. There are some that just have different activities that they enjoy doing. For example, I think my dad is the adventurer because he likes to go on his boat. He likes to go fishing. He likes to play golf. He likes to go to church. He just has these different things that he really enjoys doing that bring him pleasure. He's open to adventure. Adventurers can make great sacrifices when it comes to helping people with problems or situations that they may be in. They don't mind delving in there and helping them. They're usually lighthearted and fun. They enjoy life and can be uninhibited. So let's talk about how those types are similar and also some of the downsides about being that type, especially if you're not that type and you're kind of watching them from a window and observing and looking in. Now, I spoke with my dad earlier, but he's kind of laid back, he's easygoing. I think he's a very healthy 7. I don't see him doing thousands of things, but I know he likes to try out some new things and have some adventure in his life. So he would probably be on the low end. I've seen people who are on the high end to the extreme end of the adventurer. And I've also seen 3s working also. I think what happens when you see these types together is both of them are fine with juggling many different tasks at the same time. It doesn't bother them. They usually have several things going on. They both can be very energetic and multitask quite well. But I have seen these 2 types work together. I remember first working with a 3, and then an adventurer came, and believe it or not, the adventurer trumped the 3. So the 3 eventually said, I can't take this anymore, which is shocking because the 3 was always busy. But then when they were met with an extreme adventurer, sometimes adventurers can have a bottomless pit for needing to have things to do. They do not like being bored. That is just intolerable for them. I've seen adventurers. An adventurer, for example, would be Matt Roloff on Little People Big World. What happened to him in his childhood? He had many surgeries, so he would often look out the window or envision doing all of these things with his life as an adult. He has people who are working for him, who he's giving orders to, or his family. And as soon as he is done with one project, here comes another one, and another one, another one, another one, another one. I mean, it's just, I can't stand being bored. That's not tolerable. I can't go back to that place psychologically. So I always have to have something going on. With the 3, because they are always, especially in more of an extreme 3, it's go. I'm always doing this job and that job, and I'm going to step in and help these people with their job while I'm doing this job, and the whole vision is on getting things done, and there's not a such thing as too much work. So even if there are things that they could skip over because, well, they're probably going to do every single little task that needs to be done and knock it all out. And not only that, they're going to have things going on in their personal lives. The thing about a 3 is they're great at getting things done. They're hard workers. They're very valuable to have around. They are incredible in that way because they're just easy to depend on and rely on. They want to please. They believe in doing a good job. Maybe their parents, they grew up in a family where there wasn't much money. Not necessarily, but I'm just giving you one example. And so they want to make sure that, hey, you know what? Hard work pays off, and I'm always going to work very hard. The thing that I admire about a 7 is if we didn't have 7s, we wouldn't have entertainment. We wouldn't have all of these great places to go. You know, when I see a church that's super successful, many times there's an adventurer there. And that adventurer is coming up with endless ideas. They always put themselves in a position, especially if they're extreme, where they have this huge platform to play with. And so they can make companies extremely successful because They're coming up with thousands of things and ideas that could be super fun, super successful. They don't get, because they have that bottomless pit, that insatiable appetite to always have something going on, because if they don't, they start to feel nervous, they start to feel anxious, they start to feel afraid, they start having to think of things that they don't want to think about. Their anxiety levels raise. So it really keeps that under control. I admire the threes' workability. I mean, from afar, both of those types look extremely admirable and like, oh yeah, they're so cool. Now, threes can be a little cocky. They can be a little arrogant sometimes. They can be a little pompous. Of course, not always, or not all of them, but sometimes they don't even know that they're coming across that way. They're very confident, straightforward, they're tackling things. Which type would I rather be? Honestly, I feel tired thinking about both types. I admire them. I think we need them in our society. They do great things, and I see the results of when you don't have somebody like that. Well, you know, you don't have somebody that's willing to take risks, that's willing to jump out there, that's willing to create new opportunities and new jobs and new platforms and new activities, or somebody that's willing to go the extra mile to make sure that things get done and that they're done right. If you didn't have that, we would be in trouble. But I look at both of them and I think, God, it's so exhausting. I think my wing would probably lean more towards the three, because I'm the four. I'm not usually quick to share what my types are, because when other people do it, I sort of start watching them in a different way, like, for real? Like, how are you that type? Yeah, right. So I think I would lean more towards the three, because I can have a tendency to be a bit of a workaholic, but I don't like being that way. I find it extremely and intensely draining. Like, I need to get some rest. So the thing about the seven is they usually are going to end up delegating. I'm not good at delegating because I don't like asking people for help. When they're on an extreme continuum, they get so caught up in their thousands of ideas that they need a lot of people that are working for them. They're ready to go on to the next thing. They're coming up with the ideas, but they don't have time to do it because now I want to do something else. I find that way overwhelming. But like I said, I'm glad that they're the way they are, because some entities suffer when you don't have an adventurer who's coming up with different ideas and who doesn't mind playing around with it. So I'm not saying that I think that they're bad people. I think they're amazing, awesome, incredible, fun people. And if they like doing thousands of things, that's great. I don't. Threes can wear themselves out because they also will have different tasks going on, but they may not have, they're not going to have as many thousands of ideas that they're playing with as the adventurer will, and they enjoy doing lots of things and having several different things going on. So I think if I had to pick, I think I would definitely pick the three, because I think they are better at finishing what they start, and I think that's more aligned with my personality. Not that adventurers don't. I like focusing on a couple of things that interest me. I would advise the three to slow it down a little bit, because they can wear themselves down without really realizing just how much work they're putting on themselves. So that's kind of my spin to give you some insight about both of these intriguing types. And hey, go out and see if you can be a 3 or a 7 today. Please give me a thumbs up and subscribe, because I don't know, maybe I'll talk about your Enneagram one day. Thanks for watching my video. Bye!